I hate Riverside so much. I hate it. It's terrible.
We do need to get together and figure out this, like, figure out your recording software thing, see if we can get it to work. We should do, like,
Yeah.
a test thing.
Yeah. All right. All set. Welcome, everyone, to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now, today we have Merrick and Tennyson joining us for our first movie, and then just Merrick joining us for the last two. Today we will be looking at the long-awaited ending of the trilogy, Venom 3: The Last Dance. Quickly followed up by We Live in Time. And then finishing off with the new Tom Hanks movie, Here. Now, we were positively or hopelessly optimistic for all three of these, and let's see how each of them planned out as we move into our first thing here, Venom 3: The Last Dance. Isaac, please take us away with the description.
Eddie Brock and Venom must make a devastating decision as they're pursued by a mysterious military man and alien monsters from Venom's home world.
Hey, that's fair enough. Now,
There's
I'll be
only
the
one word in that. There's only one word in this that I actually have problem with, and that's it. And that's the word devastating.
I'll be the first to admit, um, this fell short of expectations, and
It did.
I think that's just because everyone's
Yeah.
expectations were really high. Because like one of the most recent like comic book stories that I actually did follow, like as it was coming out, was The King in Black, which was Venom's entire redemption arc. And this movie seemed to be following that pretty closely as it introduced Null and introduced the concept of a codex, even though they did it wrong. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot about it that I felt they didn't really have what they needed to play it out correctly, and they kind of dropped the ball on a lot of things.
This,
Because
you know what it feels like with this? Like, I'm realizing as we're talking about this, when you're talking about it, it feels very gimmicky. You know what I mean?
no,
Like,
not
like,
really
like,
gimmicky, but like
no, like the stuff that they did when they use the symbiote stuff as like a gimmick rather than like actual important shit.
well, the thing is that I think direction and writing are the biggest flaws of this movie, or not just this movie, but the franchise itself. Because I really like Tom Hardy as Eddie. He does a really good job. And then I really like
Mhm.
whoever it is playing Venom. And I like Venom as a character. I think while drastically different from any other iteration of Venom, I think the two really work off each other, and they're pretty funny at times. And like I just think they're good together. But I wish they had better script pages handed to them, if that makes sense. Like better writing. Like I just wish they had better material to work with. But
Yeah.
I feel like they really didn't understand a lot of what Venom is and like what the symbiotes are
Oh,
like individually, because like
How
there's,
they work.
well, not even just how they work, but like for instance, there's the Life Foundation symbiotes, which are Riot, Agony, Phage, Lasher, and Scream. Scream was completely absent from the entire trilogy here. Riot was the bad guy in the first movie, so they only had 3 of them to be out of the original 5 to be in this movie, and they kind of really
Right.
really messed them up. Like they had two of them, which are not even anywhere close to how they are in the comics, and then I don't even know for sure if the third one was in there or not. They had one that kind of looked like him, but they didn't confirm anything. They didn't name any of the symbiotes, and I don't know. Like they like I'll I'll dive more into that as we come around
Yeah.
to it because we have to talk about a few other things first.
Yes. First off, I do want to say something. You were talking like whoever does Venom. You want to know who voices Venom?
Ooh,
Also Tom Hardy.
really
Yeah, I mean he isn't the voice all
interesting.
the time. Apparently, there was someone else who lent their voice in the first movie.
Hmm.
As well, he was one of the voice actors for it. But according to all the sources I'm reading, Tom Hardy does at least some of the voicing for Venom.
Well, that's why they work so well off each other. it's
Works
like
off
Yeah,
it's
himself.
like it's like
I
you
do have to say,
know.
before we go into the bad stuff about this movie, I do want to bring up
Yeah.
some good points. Like, while like the your problem with like the whole like symbiote stuff is, it was still cool to see them. Like the cool
Yeah,
shit they
no.
did with them was really cool.
Yeah,
And like
No. And
absolutely.
I'll
and like the CGI in this is still fucking A tier.
right. So
Like,
before
Phenomenal.
before to talk about the cool stuff about the symbiotes is the the creature that's hunting them throughout the whole thing.
yes.
I like how it moves. I like how it tracks them. And especially I like how it kills. I think that was just phenomenal. It grabbed people, shoved them in its mouth, and then it just like a fucking wood chipper just sprayed out the red mist out the back of its head. Like it's just
Which
a fucking
which is
paper shredder.
also which is also just a really cool thing. Like, it makes sense why that's a symbiote killer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like
Like,
Yeah.
it just
but
completely eviscerates everything that goes through it,
and
which is
that's
really
really
the only way
cool.
to kill a symbiote.
But that comes with a drawback, as pretty much any symbiote that goes up to it just gets instantly vaporized.
Yeah,
It gets no contact.
Yeah.
I
that
was
was pretty.
especially disappointed because one of the coolest things that I was looking forward to was seeing Toxin, who was introduced in the last one and attached to the police officer. Um, and Toxin's really cool is because he's the 1,000th in his bloodline, meaning
Yeah.
that he is it's like a peak in it, so it's like he's a million times stronger than any other symbiote that's ever existed just because he's
Hmm.
the 1,000th. And then also he's the only one that's just like from the get-go a good guy because he attaches
Yeah.
himself to a police officer first and foremost. So he's got that moral code. So I was super hyped to see that, and then he just got literally just thrown away. Like
Yeah.
he got thrown out of the movie
Yep.
on a single line. It just
Yeah.
said like, "Oh, his symbiote abandoned him," and then magically
Left for dead.
this other symbiote came to him, and
Well,
now
no,
he's
they
just this
brought.
guy.
So what they did is that his symbiote left him. So they brought him back and gave him another symbiote.
Yeah, no, I got, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. The
Another
symbiote left, so they brought him
new
in, and then
unnamed symbiote. They
unnamed
could have just
symbiote.
had
nothing about.
Toxin.
Know nothing
Yeah.
about. He isn't
I
named.
do have to say-
and then as soon as he and the police officer get out of the captivity, paper shredder instantly through one of the monsters.
Gone.
Which
Dead.
sucks
I'm like,
because I
well-
actually liked the look of him. He was like a fucking snake.
Yeah,
Like, he was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. He was really dope.
That was rad.
yeah, and he
So,
took the
do we
fucking
also-
host with him.
So there's the other thing is that this movie has that's really weird. Is that it likes to hire Spider-Man actors, like actors from other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I noticed.
Like freaking what was it? Freaking we had what was it? The Lizard. We had who else was there?
Bro's just reading the cast and act like he knew it.
No. I'm trying to remember. Well, I'm trying to remember the fucking. What's his
It was
name?
the guy who played the Lizard in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but I literally have no idea anyone else you're talking about.
There was a few others. And I only noticed it, and I can't remember their names now. I
Well,
only
you should
noticed
have
it after I
researched
watched the
this
pitch meeting.
before the
Right.
podcast.
I only noticed it after the pitch meeting for this movie. Because
Maybe
he brought up
watch
3 different people that
meetings
were in
before the
Spider-Man.
podcast.
But it's funny. But
Going Isaac mode during the podcast.
I've
He
done it
is, and he
before.
does, and we know. We can
But
see it reflecting in your glasses. You're not sneaky.
but uh but no, it's just they tried to do a lot with this, and also the motivations were weird as well, because they're supposed, they know that they're not supposed to become Venom fully at any point during this, otherwise the creature can track them down.
Unless
Yep.
unless it's for Dancing with Mrs. Chen, apparently.
Unless it's from Dancing with Mrs.
That's
Chen.
true.
Yeah, that was
And it's
so
okay.
fucking
And it's
stupid.
okay.
Like, what the hell? Like, that made no sense. Also, I
If
really
he just
hate.
got done saying that it was super serious and they can't transform.
I brought
and
this
Yeah.
he
up
fell
to
off a
Merrick. I
plane.
brought this up to the Merrick. It felt really weird because they said oh, we can't transform because then the thing will haunt us. But they transform all the time. They consistently
Right.
keep transforming to the thing. So he's keeps popping up like that. But at the same time, it also felt weird because it felt like Venom was not in the movie a whole lot.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
consistently popping up and then also not in the movie.
Yeah.
I
It
kind of
was
felt
just.
that. He was out of the focus, even though this was supposed to be the last hurrah.
Yeah. It was just odd, and when he would do stuff, it was just kind of random, as well.
I mean,
And the other thing that this movie, the other thing I thought that was super gimmicky with this movie, they really, really wanted to just showcase as many things, as many animals, venomized as possible.
and
We
they
had
should.
Yeah.
Well, we had a fish, we had the frog, and then we had the horse. But then the
Yeah.
entire end credits was just nothing but random animals venomized, and I'm like,
Yeah, it
is
was
this
just
the
end
point?
credit art. Well, what do you mean? Is this the point? Look at Into the Spider-Verse when there's the big drawn art scene with all those. Is that the point? It's nothing.
Well, no,
It's
it's
just
not
an
that
end
that.
credit scene to
It's
look cool.
I guess that's fair. But that was the other thing. Talking about end credit scenes. This is supposed to be this has pretty much been billed as the final Venom thing. At least for this trilogy, definitely. And it could
Yeah.
just be the end of Venom anyways. But they still had Null pop up at the end
Well,
there.
yeah, because he was missing from the entire movie he was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
Which is another huge drawback, is that they dropped Null, played by Andy Serkis, the master of mocap himself, and then he didn't even look up. He had his head hanging down. He had about 2 minutes of screen time before and after.
And he screamed in the camera at the end credits screen, and that was it.
I am hoping, and it's a long hope, that they know what they're doing over there, that they have a plan.
Yeah.
Which may not be guaranteed, but I'm hoping that they're planning to do just a King in Black movie.
It'd be cool.
That the
That
cockroach
would
at
be
the end
rad.
will find a piece of venom or something. Or, they still had that sample that was at the bar. The MCU still has a little bit of blob left over somewhere. I sat down and talked with Merrick after we got home with this. I think it would be very, 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 very smart of them to carry this King in Black over to the MCU, because
It would be.
his evidence is all over it, whether they like it or not, for Null existing, because I don't think a lot of the people at the MCU really paid attention to the hows and whys of the comics, because the sword that Gore the God Butcher uses in Thor Love and Thunder, as bad as that movie was made by Null from his own body, and he used that sword to decapitate a Celestial, and that head became Nowhere, where the Guardians of the Galaxy live. So they have like evidence that he does exist in the MCU already. But what I think is because they kind of set this up is that he lives in the void, which is like
Yeah.
outside of stuff. So I'm hoping it's outside of dimensions, or it's like the void in between dimensions. So there is only one null. So they could
Yeah.
have the mainline MCU. They have the goo in the MCU, right? They
Yeah.
have the little blob of Venom that could latch on to Spider-Man, and then we finally have the MCU Venom Spider-Man, and he could take on Null, or
The
they
only
bring in something can happen, and they
yeah.
bring. I think they would have a better time trying to tackle Null in the MCU rather than the Sonyverse.
The only
is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. The only problem I have with like as much as I want Tom Holland's Spider-Man to have a Venom symbiote on him, at the same time it's almost not worth it at this point. Like, well, think about it. The reason why Venom is cool, especially when it like attaches to Peter, is that it affects his emotions and it affects the way he treats like his friends and his family. He has none anymore.
Well, we've
Right.
seen that already. They would want to do something different with it. This would be more focused on Venom than it would be Spider-Man, because it would be
Well, yeah,
him
because they are
taking
doing
on the
Secret Wars,
symbiote.
right?
I don't fucking know.
I think they are doing a Secret Wars thing in the MCU. I think that's slated. So that could be cool.
Yeah, you know what else was slated?
Oh, fair. Like so
Hundreds
much
of
other
other
shit.
projects. Yes, we get the Secret Wars project right
Yeah.
after Blade.
Oh,
It comes out
for
right
real?
after Blade comes out, Isaac.
Dude, they could just get Wesley Snipes to play Blade in that. Like, they actually could. They really could.
They
Anyway,
would
we're
need to
getting off
find
topic.
a fucking director and writer who's willing to stay on the
True.
project for more than 8 seconds. Anyways,
True.
I have a lot of complaints about this. Like, I really didn't like how they had the symbiotes in like test tubes since the first movie. And then in the third movie, what I thought was going to happen is that Eddie was going to get out and he was just going to break all the tubes and they were all going to join onto him, and then that would be Hybrid, which in the comics is all the symbiotes put together, but it's the 5 that
Which would have been
supposed to be, which they're missing
awesome.
2. They kind of had 2 of them like twist together, but then they didn't really do much with that.
And
it
then
was
they
kinda
got ripped
lame.
apart like 5 Yeah. times.
Exactly, and then they just got 8. There was one guy who had like a whip hand, and then he was also on fire, which doesn't make sense because I'm pretty sure symbiotes are
They
weak to fire.
Yeah, they've been ignoring that specifically Everything? recently.
Yeah,
Venom wasn't weak to fire in Spider-Man 2 game either.
crazy. And then like
Wild.
Agony, Marek, you
That's
were pretty
stupid.
upset about the egg. Yeah, yeah. I'll let you
That's
take the
Yeah.
problem with
stupid.
Agony.
So the the lady that Agony bonds to was like struck by lightning as a kid, so obviously that means she gets super speed when the symbiote attaches. That's stupid. That's not how that works.
Well, it was
They
also
don't.
stupid. Like, the only thing they gave, like, beyond the fact of, like, oh, she was struck by lightning, is that I guess there was, like the tube it was in got electrified or something. Like, because
When?
well, no,
Well, if the tube it was
it
in
had
got
that
electrified, it
beforehand.
should have died.
Yeah, it would have
Yeah.
That's
died.
how
They're weak to
symbiotes work.
electricity.
Yeah, again, they don't know
That's
what
like
they're doing.
an Absolute Carnage comic book where Carnage just takes over everybody and like everybody is venomized like that. They heavily rely on fire superheroes and electric superheroes because it's no longer weak to sound. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's like literally we need everyone with fucking we need every single black superhero ever invented to use their electric powers to kill the Carnage.
True. But
It doesn't make any sense that she's electrified, whatever. But I mean, it's no stranger that they're going so off the books with the Sony verse. That's just come to
Yeah.
know. But it's
Super Speed.
I'm so invested in the symbiote lore of
Yeah.
Marvel because it's very interesting and very very unique. That like they messed it up so much that it's almost insulting. On the surface, it's not a terrible movie. I
Oh,
think
no, it's very
most of it
entertaining.
it's super. I was entertained. I was just like, oh no, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, what are you doing? No,
You, as
that's not.
someone
He's
who
not
is
supposed to
steeped
be
in,
like that.
as someone steeped in the lore, you're sitting here going, "This could be 1,000 times cooler than it is.
It could be, yes, yes,
Yeah.
because they're
This
not
could
doing
go
it
so
correctly.
much harder than it does," and that's your
Yeah,
problem with it, really.
yeah.
Like, it's just this
Because what
version of
happens
it
is like
is
all
it's
the
the best
symbiotes
version
get
it
out,
can
they
be.
attach to all the scientists, which is like magically now that's okay because I thought it was super rare that they were attached to somebody. But now they
Well,
can just
it's super
attach to
rare that
whoever
they
they
can
want.
keep a host. Like, it's super rare that they can keep a host longer
Well, they didn't
longer
seem to
than X
have
amount of
any
time.
problems. They didn't see any
Yeah.
problems, no
Well, it's a good
inhibitions
thing.
or whatever.
It's a
They all
good thing.
latched
All
onto.
the
I'm
rest.
still
Retcon.
talking.
Go ahead.
They just latch on to whatever scientist, and then they just immediately get eviscerated, like within the same minute. And like, it's why have all these things from the very first movie in test tubes? You have them, and now they finally get out. You finally get to see what that. You don't get. Nobody's named. You barely get any information on it.
Nope.
It's like, whoa,
None
that
of them are even credited.
one's green, and then they're dead,
Nobody.
and then they're dead.
Nobody. None
It's
of
like, look
them
at
had
him.
names. Venom
kinda
was
like
the only one who had a name.
True.
Even when you look up people like when you look up what were all the symbiotes in the movie and stuff like that, when you look that stuff up, all of them are like, this is this one, I guess, and this is this
appears to be.
maybe.
It bears a
The
striking
only one,
resemblance
the
too.
only one, there were only 2 of them besides Venom that were definitely supposed to be this symbiote. There was
Yeah.
Lasher and there was Agony. And that was it.
Yeah.
It's just those 2. The rest of them were like, this could be Phage, I guess. And like this,
Gwent.
yeah,
'Cause
like
most of it's like, and like if they made up ones for the movie, hey, good on them. But like,
I mean, because you can. Like, there's so many fucking symbiotes out there.
you
Like,
can.
because symbiotes are just able to just like, because forgive me if I'm butchering this, but symbiotes come into existence when like even when a separate piece of a symbiote comes off of them. Like, that's how they're born, right? Like, if a piece is broken off of Venom, like, it becomes its own thing, right?
I mean, not every time, but that's how they reproduce. Is that they split from the main blob.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
how they got
like,
Carnage, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
See, my knowledge of Carnage is admittedly tainted by watching Ultimate Spider-Man, because for the longest time I thought it was just the combination of Venom and Peter Parker's blood, like the Venom symbiote and
Cletus
Peter Parker's
Cassidy's.
blood.
Cletus Cassidy.
So yeah, because that's how they got Carnage in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah. If you want to go to the comics, he was Eddie. Cletus was Eddie's cellmate in prison, and then when he got the symbiote back, he broke out of prison and left a little bit behind, and then that attached to Cletus.
Okay.
But you can see how they would change that for the movies and stuff. But like, I think it's just such a drastic deviation that it's hard to even like associate or like compare it to the original to what you like. It's like, I don't know, man.
Oh, also the thing with Lasher pissed me off as well, by the way. Cause this they randomly made this chick, like, their whole thing was like, oh, you're obsessed with Christmas. Why? And like
That's not.
they
Oh,
it's solely because they wanted to make
That's
red and
I
green Lasher.
I don't believe that's true.
no, she wasn't obsessed with Christmas. She had a Christmas tree pin, and her last name was Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she had the
Still, we
pin because like her mother made it and then died or something.
Yeah.
guess. But it was just odd. It was like it
It,
really was very aimless. It was a very aimless movie. Still fun
Yeah.
to watch. Like if you just shut your brain off and watch it, it's an enjoyable time.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say, like last negative thing. I really did not care for the fucking what is that the song at the end when they're reminiscing. Because spoiler alert, Venom fucking dies. He
Oh, the
sacrifices
song
himself.
Memories.
Acid.
That shit at the end and like all the fucking flashback and the clips of the pet. That really took me out of the movie because it felt like I was in a fucking TikTok. And I was like, what
Yeah.
is it? What? This?
It's
Now?
freaking Memories from Maroon 5.
Yeah, like, it's like, I am not emotional thinking about that song. Because that song only makes me think of the shitty AI Family Guy cover. And it makes it's funny. But, like, that was the wrong choice for the tone, my guy. That
Yeah,
was the wrong
no.
choice.
See, so this is going back to my thing I said. The only problem I had with the description for this movie was the word devastating. Because Venom sacrificing himself had zero fucking weight. Like it didn't. Like I felt nothing. I felt actually nothing in that moment.
I thought it was a great scene, but I think it's mostly because he's coming back. Like, they're not fucking
Yeah.
killing him off. The only way he
Right.
doesn't come back after this is if they don't have enough money to make a follow-up movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it's such a profitable thing.
Yeah.
Like
It
Venom is a
really is,
really cool
because
thing.
people Venom. Like, these
Yeah.
movies are not great, but people still like Eddie and Venom because they're really, really good together. I feel like
They
they
are.
are really underutilized. They're they're given really bad lines and direction, and like I think really if you get a better writer in there, like those two are a really, really good duo,
They
even if
are.
they're the same guy. Anyways,
Just yeah.
if anyone has anything else to say about the Venom movie, please speak your piece. All right, well then we are moving ahead on into the rankings.
All right.
I'm
Teddy, why don't you go? You're
yeah.
not normally on here.
Um, I mean, it wasn't my favorite movie, but
Clearly.
yeah, not not the worst. So I'm gonna give it high 5.
All right.
Eric,
I'm gonna give this a 4.
fair enough.
All right.
Kind of whack.
Isaac,
Still fun though.
Go ahead, Kel.
all right. Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable on the surface. Most of my disappointment comes from what I was hyping up in my head and hoping for the whole time.
Mhm.
But when it comes to, Marvel, you just gotta prepare for disappointment. It's not a terrible movie. I'm gonna give it a perfectly mid 5 out of 10. That's what it is. I think it's getting overhated. Like, people are just like, oh, it's bad, this and that, but like it's fine.
The last two weren't masterpieces.
No, they weren't. I think the first one was probably the best out of all three.
It is.
And then it just
You are
kind of
actually
tumbled
correct.
off from there.
And honestly, the first one's the best of the three just because of the action was best in that one, honestly. I'm also going to give this movie a 5. Normally, again, if it wasn't for the fact that of all the stuff that they could do with symbiotes and Venom and everything, especially them bringing in Null, that could have gone so fucking hard. But, they didn't do it, but it's still a relatively enjoyable movie. You get to see pretty colors fighting on screen, and that's, I guess, enough nowadays.
Momentarily.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tenny, thank you for joining us for Venom 3. Nice to
Yeah,
have
no
you here.
problem. I'll be
we
back,
did-
don't worry.
Yeah, we will bid you farewell as we move on into our next movie, We Live in Time. Isaac, if you could please give us a description for We Live in Time.
Helmut and Tobias are brought together by a surprise encounter that changes their lives. As they embark on a path challenged by the limits of time, they learn to cherish each moment of their unconventional love story. So,
I guess
I take issue with that descriptor because it makes it sound like it's a linear story.
it's not. And I think that was a bad choice, making
It
it
was.
non-linear.
Honestly,
Little confusing.
I've been thinking on it since then. They literally could have done it the right way, and it still would have been fine.
Yeah, I probably would have liked it better
100%.
because there's not really a whole lot of reason to why they told
It
the whole
also
thing out of
ruins a
order.
lot of it. It
Yeah,
also ruins a lot of it because you're sitting there, there's the whole scene where 'cause it starts at one point in their relationship after they already have a kid and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's where the movie starts.
right.
And they so by the time you get through that, and then they talk about the fact that she has cancer, and then they go back to the beginning of their relationship, and there's a moment in there where they're fighting, where they have a fight over he wants kids, and she says that she never really saw kids to be her thing, and so they kind of break up for a sec.
Well, I know there's no fucking issue there.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is you ruined that for yourself because they're just gonna come back
Something tells
together.
me that you're gonna change your mind.
But at the
on having
same
kids.
time, it would also be weird. Now that I think about it, it would be weird to put that so early in the movie because I've thought about it. Even told linearly, it's a bit of a weird story as well. Beat wise, it's weird because they start going out. She hits him with her car. They start going out. Then they have this conversation about, this, and then he leaves. And he comes back and he's like, actually, it's not that big a problem.
You're missing a lot in between her hitting him with her car and having the convo about kids.
Well,
But they
that's
had
kind of hard
sex
to
and
tell
then
because it's all out of order.
Exactly. Right. Because at any
no,
point
see,
when
that's what I'm saying.
at any single point during the movie when a scene starts, it's I have no idea where this is yet. It's I gotta
only
when he shows up at the
Unless she's bald or pregnant, then you know
if
kind of
she's
where
bald
it
or
is.
pregnant or they have a child. It's one of those three. It's the
Right,
only
when
indication you have.
when he shows up at the baby shower at the door, and I'm just when is this? What is the what? Because I don't know what the weight of the scene is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this what am I supposed to be feeling?
I-
Because what it is he's apologizing for what the fight that they got in earlier,
Mhm.
but I had no idea. Is this after the fight? Is that what he's doing here, or is
Oh,
this
okay.
before it, or is it way after where they've already made up? I don't know what their relationship or what the
You have to
tension is
use
supposed to be at the
context
moment.
clues.
They don't give you that because it's all out of order.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's out of order, and they make you rely on context clues that they barely give you.
There's you don't get context clues. It's just like, okay, I have no idea where this is. I have no idea where this is. I have no idea where this is, and then they slap you. This is where it is. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
then you didn't. There's no build up to that.
Oh, that's okay. That makes sense. Like there's no reason why the story
he's following
should be...
the guy he's following the guy in that scene. He's following the guy with the food up into her place, and then he takes the pizza or whatever, and he brings it in, and then everyone's just like staring at him, and like the Alma's not there, and he's just like standing around. I'm like, okay, so what is this? What is he here to apologize from the fight, or is this like 5 years in the future from that? What is this, her baby shower? What am I supposed to be feeling? I can't tell because I don't know when this is. I don't know what state of the relationship is at the moment, at any given moment.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. And then I will say there's the biggest the only real like good thing I can say about this movie is that I like the acting was pretty decent. I liked seeing like Andrew Garfield was pretty funny and he did really good. Plus the birth scene was
I
very
thought that
good.
was really good. Well, I wonder if the kid comes out all right. I wonder if the kid's gonna, oh wait,
Yeah.
we already know.
Well, yeah,
But
that's the
no, I
other
thought that
problem
was
is
a
we
great
know
scene. I
how
thought that
that
was a
all
really
goes.
good scene.
It was great, like watching him freak out over it and like everything. Like it was just really funny. And on top of that, plus there was also a thing that hit me in the middle of that scene as well. Because one thing that his character is about, like that he brings up a bunch of different times, is like he's worrying. He admits at one point in the movie that he's worrying about the future rather than like taking like appreciating what's in front of him right now, you know? And like there's like during that scene, like afterwards, and I was thinking about it, I was like, can you imagine how wild it would be? Not wild, like the feeling you would have delivering your own child.
I suppose I could.
Like that's interesting. That's like that was just an interesting thing. That was a weird thought I had about the movie. Like, but I was like, that would be like that's gonna be a moment that you're gonna look back on, like a lot. Like they had a lot of cool moments in the movie. That's the issue, is that they're just moments, like out of order. So there's zero context to them. There's zero feeling about them, and it's just weird. And
I don't particularly buy their chemistry in the first place either.
That's fair.
Like watching Amazing Spider-Man and him with Emma Stone, like you could like feel it, like they
You can feel the
had
chemistry.
something between them, but like this one, not really. They just feel like actors acting. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I mean, positive here, big positive. It is a romance movie where no one is cheating on each other. That is a big positive.
There is
Because
still
that
lies,
seems to be fucking every single romance movie is about the guy that the chick is with is bad for some reason, but the new guy comes in and he's hot. So now she has to cheat on her husband with the new guy, and then that's the whole movie.
I saw a video the other day where this dude was like, the ideal romance fantasy for 90% of women is just cheating.
Yeah,
like
that's
because he points out all of these movies: Sleepless in Seattle, cheating. Freaking every single movie ever made by the Hallmark Channel, cheating. And white women go fucking feral for those.
I guarantee you that fucking Blake Lively one that we skipped out on that came out.
It's her cheating.
Yeah, it's I knew it. See, that's why when it comes to romance movies, I like 50 First Dates.
I love 50 First Dates. I love that movie so much.
I saw that in high school. I saw that in high school, and I didn't mind that.
That is still my number one favorite romance movie of all time.
You want a really good romance movie?
What?
I highly recommend Perfect Sense.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
Perfect Sense. It is Ewan McGregor,
Mm.
and him and his love interest are facing a apocalypse, unlike any other one. Because one
Ooh.
by one, all of humanity is losing their senses. So
Mm.
first they can't taste, and then they can't smell, and then they can't hear, and then they can't see, and then it just keeps going like that. So like one by one they're like dropping, and they're trying to how to stay together and deal with that during the whole thing. And I thought it was really good.
That sounds
I thought
awesome.
that was
Actually, I'll
very
have to check
good.
that
It
out.
was very good. Highly recommend that.
But
But
anyway,
back
back to
on
one
topic.
back to this. Like, there's just a lot in this that just didn't make sense. Also, the fact of the matter is that why why does mainstream media these days want to make it sound like it's bad to just be a mom?
Isaac, you asking really loaded questions here. We all know the answer to that.
Well, okay, fine, but like that's her whole thing. Is like she wants to compete in this competition, even though she actively has stage 3 fucking cancer. She wants to
Oh yeah, no,
participate in
this
this.
she was absolutely in the wrong the entire movie. I will I will
Yeah.
give her that. Props to
Yeah,
Andrew
definitely.
Garfield for putting up with her. She was in the wrong. I didn't like dislike her. I'm just like, no, you're not right here. Cause like she went behind his back and said, I'm not doing the cooking contest. And then she went and did the cooking contest when she could have been not overexerting herself, which would have made the treatments more successful. But because she
Yeah.
was exerting herself, the treatments were not successful, making her life end earlier.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and she's like, how I don't want to like be around just like
I don't want to just
dying. I
be
want.
someone's dead mom, were her exact words.
Well, no, she said she would rather. I'm talking about the bit where she was like, I would rather have like 6 great months than
Oh,
have
yeah.
12, long
Really
ones where I'm
shitty
doing the
ones.
procedure. I'm like, okay, but you have a daughter
Yeah,
and a
that's
husband,
where my disconnect is.
fiance at the point. So like, you should prioritize your daughter over that. She's like, well, I want her to look at a picture of me and say that's my mom, and as the winner of. I'm like, you are prioritizing winning a cooking contest that no one has ever heard of before this movie over than spending a few extra months with your daughter and fiance
She's
and marrying your
prioritizing.
fiance
Yeah. She's
and marrying your
prioritizing
fiance.
this. She's
That scene,
prioritizing the memory that her like the accomplishments and the memory that she could leave behind. She's prioritizing her legacy over creating memories that her daughter will actually remember. Rather than
exactly.
being
And
told her
in the
daughter being
process,
told like
she left
yeah.
her daughter at school. She did not pick up her daughter because she was at the thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
seems like something she would
They
remember
Oh,
having to do that.
oh yeah, that
they
entire scene by the way, oh sorry Mo, go ahead.
they had to postpone the wedding for the
Yes.
cooking competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was probably like aside from like the birth scene, like that was like a really really good scene is
Mhm.
Andrew Garfield throwing the invitations in the garbage and then just fucking falling apart.
Yeah.
That was probably his best acting.
We walked out of the theater, and as we walked out of the theater, the poster for the movie was right there. And I just went, that entire movie was just this man compromising. And that was it.
It really was.
Yeah,
He
yeah, it
compromised a
was.
lot.
It
He
was
compromised
just
a
him
lot. I feel
compromising.
bad for him. I feel
I
bad
do.
for him. Now he's got a dead wife and a daughter.
I do have to
And we
say,
don't even
the
know if
ending
she
scene
won
of
the
the movie.
fucking contest.
Yeah. The ending scene of that movie where he's cracking eggs with his daughter, I do have to admit, I did get a little choked up about it. Like, I don't know why. It was just the thought of it. Like, he's teaching
Well,
his daughter something that
So,
His wife taught him.
well, here's the thing. Overexerting yourself and making yourself die faster so you have even less time to be with your husband and daughter is not as good a legacy as if, as a chef, I don't know, maybe you could write down your recipes in a recipe book
Yeah,
so that you can teach your daughter how to cook like you can even after you're dead. Instead of hoping that whatever you taught your husband has rubbed off enough on him. I thought that would have been like a much sweeter, much more sentimental, and much more lasting thing. Is like, this is a cookbook from your chef mom who died.
yeah. It's just
Oh, my chef mom who died won a contest, presumably.
Zoom.
she won a
If she
contest that
didn't,
nobody's heard of since
Oh,
before this movie.
oh, cool. Can you make one of her dishes? No.
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 See, if you had a
Oh,
big cookbook,
Kellen.
it's like, here's everything.
So as the resident chef, I
Yes.
wanted to know. I wanted to know what you thought of the food aspect of this movie, like like the way she cracks eggs and stuff like that. Like,
I don't like eggs.
oh,
I
that's
don't
right.
I don't care about her egg cracking tactics. It's literally irrelevant and wastes more dishes.
True.
So you put an egg in one bowl, you crack an egg and then you put it in one bowl, and then you put the egg in that bowl and pour that into
And
another
then
bowl.
and her reasoning for it is that it's easier to fish
Because
a shell out of one egg than 8 eggs. And I'm like, how about just get good at
it's not
cracking
though.
eggs?
It's not though. It's not easier.
It's literally not.
It's the same either way.
It's the same, really, because if you crack an egg, it's the eggshell's gonna be on the top. So
Also,
you can just puck it out. It's not different.
I hate the I hate the way that cooking is portrayed in mainstream media, especially when it comes to things like that. Like those ones, like The
Yeah,
Bear
no.
is definitely one of them, where it's the kitchen, like when you get to like 5-star restaurants and stuff like that. It's like they're all
Yeah.
super strict, and you
I mean,
got
they
this.
have
And
to be. They
yeah,
have to be.
yeah,
That's real. I
but
hate fancy food like that because like
yeah,
it's too pretentious to me. Like,
mhm,
I do not fucking care if you put the chocolate over the sphere and then it created the little chocolate I don't care. Okay? I'll go down to Milwaukee Burger and get something that tastes 20,000 times better than anything you
yeah.
can put out there with
I
your little
was
anchovy paste and your tapenade. I don't
I was
fucking care. Nobody likes any of that shit. They eat it as
I
a
was just
status
about
symbol.
to. I was just about to bring up the movie. A movie we saw
Worthless.
before we started doing this was The Menu. When we
Yes,
saw the menu,
exactly.
like the whole point of that movie is the main
I was like,
chef. Like
dang,
he got
I
so
feel that.
high up there that he lost the love of cooking that he had when he first started out as just a dude flipping burgers. And like
Right.
she asked him for a burger, like, because I would rather a burger over any of that shit any day of the week. Like,
Right.
it would be cool to try, but like to spend thousands of dollars on shit like that,
Because
fuck
fancy
no.
food like that is just a status symbol. Like, nobody
Exactly.
eats that shit to enjoy it or to fill themselves or to have a nice meal. They eat
No.
it as a status symbol, and I hate it. Which that, like, The Menu. It was an okay movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was slightly above okay. If I were to rank it, I would give it like a high 7. But that theme of just
Yeah.
not wanting to do the fancy shit and how pretentious it really is, and how like
Yeah.
flipping burgers and making fries and making shit that people will actually enjoy eating,
Yeah.
as as someone who makes food that people enjoy eating, that hits home. It's true.
Exactly. I
There's
love I saw a thing recently that was talking about someone posted a question. It was like, if you could have Gordon Ramsay cook
No.
you anything, at all, what would it be? And I'm looking in the comments, and it's like, oh, beef Wellington and all this shit and all that, and I'm sitting here like, I'd want him to cook me like the fanciest I'd get is I'd want him to cook me a steak, but like I'd want a burger by
Dinosaur
Gordon
chicken
Ramsay.
nuggets.
I'd want a
want-
burger by
I want
Gordon
him
Ramsay.
to make me. I want him to make me a grilled cheese so I can tell him how he did it wrong.
Merrick, I hate you because I was
Wait.
just gonna say that. I was gonna say I want him to make the grilled cheese so I can truly know how bad he fucked up that time.
Wait, what are you talking about? I don't know about this.
Isaac doesn't know about Gordon Ramsay's failure of a grilled cheese. Guys, we have something to watch after this podcast now. Thank
Okay.
you. Let's head on into the rankings.
Sure, go ahead.
I am going to give this a pretty high 5. I think I put it at the top of my 5s. Romance movies are not, our favorite, not particularly my favorite, but I do gotta give it credit that they didn't just, oh, the woman is cheating and which one is she gonna actually end up with and which one is
No, it was an
gonna stop
actual
being
story
cheated on.
of people
No.
being together.
Right, because it's not just like woman cheating the movie or, sexual innuendo or sexual premise the movie like fucking tons of this shit is. It's not just a thirst trap. It's a story about two people being in love, which romance movies are not that anymore. So it's kind of
Yeah.
refreshing in that sense, but I think in execution and a lot of other stuff I just kind of got lost in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also gave this movie a 5. Like it was just it wasn't super saying nothing. Like it didn't break the 6s. I probably wouldn't watch this movie again.
No, absolutely not.
Like that's usually a good measurement for this is like if it's a 5, it's like something that you'll forget about in a year, you know?
It hit a
Like-
week.
Yeah.
Isaac, what was the last 5 you had?
The last 5 I had?
Yes, chronologically on the podcast.
I don't even know.
Exactly. I guarantee you it was not even 4 episodes ago. I guarantee you.
I don't know. I've been giving it a lot of 6s
Zach?
this year.
Merrick?
I am going to give it a 4.
I can
feel
imagine
like-
I can imagine Taylor liking it.
Yeah,
I can
Yeah.
definitely see Taylor liking this. I'll be right back.
because
In the-
since
Fine.
We're almost done.
Okay, fine.
Because if you get up and leave, I already have to cut this out.
Well, you could leave it in. It's kind of funny.
Oh my God. He does this all the time, you guys. He's just like, oh, I'll be right back. Where are you going? We're not even at a part where we're stopping. Merrick's mid-sentence. You're just like, I'm out. Why? Sit down. You signed up for this. Merrick, please continue your ranking.
since 5 is like the mid point,
Yeah.
I feel like since after the movie, when we leave and we're going to the car and we say like a little bit of how we thought of the movie, if it's because it was kind of more complaints when we came out of it than
Yeah.
how it was.
I mean, the acting was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but-
like,
They got a real baby for that birth scene.
yeah. They weren't gonna pull up with a plastic one. I guarantee you.
Well, I'm
the
talking like
wisest
they could have
among us would've-
CGI'd it
would've
or
sussed
something.
that out. A CGI baby.
CGI baby, yeah.
That is the wildest take I've ever heard in my life. I will admit that the baby is closer to newborn than I have seen a lot of other movies do.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a really big baby to just come out of a woman.
True.
All right. We will give Isaac a little break to do whatever he has to do so desperately.
I just want to go grab
and
my
then,
phone.
and then, why do you not have it?
Because I didn't grab it before I sat down.
Why not?
I did.
He's got a computer. What does he need it for?
Because it has my rankings, my actual like full rankings on it.
We're looking at 3 movies right now. How did you not memorize 3 numbers by this point? You didn't have
I
any
memerized the
problem doing
3
that any other
numbers.
podcast. Then
Real
what do
shit.
you need your phone for?
Bro, real shit. 90% of the time, I make up my I solidify my ranking within the 5 minutes leading up to it. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's some of them I get a solid ranking right out the gate. There are some of these that I just kind of place it based on how I feel at the moment.
This guy, ranking on
about
the
it.
fly. Can't even premeditate this shit. Isaac, can you
Yeah.
use your phone to tell us the phone that you need so desperately to give us the description of our final movie here?
Multiple generations of couples and families inhabit the same home over the course of a century. First
Sounds
off-
about right.
First off, century? The movie starts with fucking dinosaurs.
Um,
And then
Isaac,
fast forward to
the
Indians. And then
dinosaurs
fast-
didn't live in the house.
Neither did the Indians. The house didn't exist.
Yeah, until a century. There we go. Now the gears are ticking. And Isaac's noggin. We got it. They had Ben Franklin. Okay. But the no
His
house.
son.
Ben Franklin's brother-in-law or son or something, but no house yet. Checkmate.
The other reason I needed the reason I needed my phone, by the way, was because your question nagged me. I needed to see what my last
God.
5 was.
I
It
should
was
have kept my
Despicable
damn
Me.
mouth shut. It was
It was Despicable
Me.
Me 4.
Way to go. Wow. Fantastic. So the reason we went to see this is not because Tom Hanks. Definitely
No.
not. He's fallen off. Poor guy.
Yes.
But because we were vaguely intrigued by the aspect that the entirety of this movie, the camera did not move.
It didn't.
Like
No.
it showed
Well,
snapshots of time. Well, at the end it did, but like it was stuck in one position in the corner of a room, and it showed you stuff that happened from that. Like if they went behind the camera, too bad, you won't see them.
Yeah.
It was like the camera was fixed for the whole movie except for the end. And we were like, okay, they could do some interesting stuff with that. More like, peripheral storytelling or something like that. No.
No.
This was a slog fest. This was so insultingly boring.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even bother to memorize a single character's names because they were so in and out and in and out. And I'm pretty sure half of them were never given names.
I genuinely could not give you one name except Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin, I know that one.
Tyrannosaurus Rex Merrick, crucial
Real.
character.
Fucking.
Sorry.
Oh.
Should have known that one.
This movie
It's
was very much
so-
up its own ass.
It was. 90% of it was so irrelevant. And I say that mainly because I'm not entirely sure what's supposed to be relevant.
Yeah.
Because
'Cause,
the lives of these people, like, oh, it's a snapshot of like the lives of all these families. None of their lives are interesting. They're not
No,
interesting. Nothing is happening. Tom Hanks
we're
comes home
watching
and he's
two
like, "I
people.
lost the job," and then it flash forward and he comes back and he's like, "I'm not getting the raise," and then he's like, "I don't want to paint anymore," and I'm like, "I don't care." Oh my God, no one is interesting in this movie. As soon as the dinosaurs died, I checked out. I
True.
I hate
It was.
everyone. They're so bad. Guys, the guy who invented the lazy boy,
I liked
give it
him.
up. What? Yeah, what? Why?
Yo,
What did you like about his character? The fact that he invented a chair or the fact that he had sex with his wife?
I mean, I liked
There
his
is no
character.
third option. Which which aspect of his character, that he invented a chair or that he had sex with
Him
his
and his
wife?
wife just seemed to be like just really
Having
cute
sex.
together. Okay, fair.
They just seem to be having sex. Good eye,
Well,
Merrick.
what I'm saying is, I was significantly less boring less bored when those two were on screen than anyone else.
For all
'Cause I was
7
actually
I
minutes.
don't know. Dinosaur? Just
Okay,
saying.
fair,
For all 7
fair.
minutes. For
But
all
like, also,
7 minutes
like
they were on
even if
screen.
we focus on the lives of the characters that the movie mainly focuses on,
Which I
like
don't know why you would.
which is Tom Hanks and his family, uh, it is it paints having a family as bad
It really
again.
does. It really does.
Like,
I hate Tom Hanks's wife so much because
oh
like
my god,
cuz
ugh,
I hate her so much. I hate her so much.
I need
Living in
my
the
own
time that we
space.
live in now. Oh, she's so crying. She's like, we're living with your family and like I need my own space, which understandably, like if you have a wife and daughter, you should want to, you know, like if you need to move into your own space, have more room for your family to grow, that's fine. I would
Yeah,
think it's really cool that you have the entire extended family under one roof. I don't know,
yeah.
I'm just a quote unquote family guy, you know. But this the reason I hate her so much is because the dad's like, we're taking your mom down to Florida and all your brothers and sisters are gonna move out and we're giving you the house. So they get a free house. They get an absolutely free house. And the
It
wife
was
is like,
completely paid off.
it's not the free house I wanted. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Bitch.
I'll take it. If you
Yeah.
I'm fucking spitting, I'm seething in anger. If you don't like the free house that you got for free, I can think of 8 million people on planet Earth who would really love a free house right now.
Oh my god, yes. Like, holy fuck, is it like just the
How
thought
about
of hating a free house is wild to me. Like, what's even crazier, when that point in the movie, I may be misremembering because the movie likes to not give a fuck about what time it actually is, like what year it actually is.
it's
It
like
was like the
the
2000s.
80s? It was like the 90s, 80s, something like that. Because they had, their
Was it?
daughter was a teenager in the 80s, and then yeah, it would have been like late 90s, early 2000s, I guess, if she was.
Yeah, it would have been about there, I
Yeah.
think. Because the dad moves back in, but because they have the 2003 party
Do
at one
they?
point or something. They have a
Is
New
Oh
it
yeah,
Year's
they do.
party. They have a New Year's
Oh
party, and
yeah.
it was like 2003 or whatever. I guess
The
that's
only
after.
timestamp you get.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
true.
no, Mo, you are incorrect, sir. We have another timestamp.
Oh,
The other
sorry.
problem of this
Oh,
movie.
3 billion years ago.
No,
No, we
we have
definitely know
Oh yeah.
when one of them was taking place at.
Yup.
That's such
There
a
is
stupid moment in the movie.
a black family that moves in, and it's important that they're black. So don't call me a racist here. It's very important that they're black. because as it's before we get to why it's clearly when it is, um, the father sits down with the son on his 16th birthday, and he starts giving him the what to do when you get pulled over by a police officer talk, which every father should give to their son when they start driving. But theirs is different, you see, because they're black, which means that there's a 100,000,000% chance that they're just gonna shoot him, for
Yeah.
being black, which is a crime in current year. And he literally ends the speech with like, "And you better pray and hope that that cop had his
Had his
coffee
coffee.
that morning and woke up on the right side of the bed and that he was thinking clearly, or he's just gonna shoot you." And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
If you carry yourself respectfully and follow the law, and then, you know, do give him what he needs to give, I think you're blowing that out of proportion.
yeah.
I think you're assuming the worst of police officers.
But anyway,
Which is
the snapshot we get.
what is that kid supposed to do if he gets pulled over by a black cop? His brain's gonna short circuit. He's like, oh, his head explodes like cartoon. But no, it's very obvious to all of us, to everyone. They punched you in the face with it. That
Yeah.
family takes place in that house in the year 2020 or something, around there.
Mhm.
As the maid that they have, she's spraying her cleaner, and she takes a sniff. This is a dramatization of the events for your entertainment. She takes a sniff, and then she leans into the flowers, right? And she goes, takes a sniff, right? And then
Looks directly at the camera.
looks directly at the camera, sprays it in the air, and she goes, "Ay Dios mío, I cannot smell," and then does the thing, and then I cannot smell, and then it cuts away, and then next time we see that family, the mom's coming in, she's dead.
Yeah.
She got the COVID. Bah. And I'm like,
She didn't even say. They never
didn't
even
say
say
that.
the words COVID in the movie,
No, they
because
didn't.
apparently you're not
they
allowed to
had the
say it.
masks though. They had the
Yeah.
masks though. They had the masks on, and they
They had
died
the
of the
masks
COVID.
and all this other crap, and it's like, oh my gosh, like,
Acting like it's a fucking plague, like it's a death sentence to get it. I'm like, it's not that bad. You're insane.
dude,
And then like,
I've seen clips from like doctor shows after COVID happened, and
yeah.
like some of them, like one of them is literally like, it's like
It's
like
the
you put every
apocalypse. It's
exactly.
not. It's
They're
not.
acting
It's
like
really
it's
not.
fucking the most diabolical thing. Like, it's
Isaac,
wild.
how many times have you had the COVID?
At definitely once, maybe twice.
Oh, and you're still alive. How
Yeah.
do you do it?
Isaac's a
What do
ghost,
we do?
actually.
We
Yeah.
brought him back. We brought him back.
I'm just I'm actually a zombie.
Resurrected.
Yep.
Yep.
It's what I
But
felt like I needed to be after watching this fucking movie.
oh,
Thank God.
I was dead too. We all
Thank
had to
God we
come
went
back
and
from
saw
the dead.
Godzilla -1 for the 5th time after this.
Hey, it's my 6th time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We definitely need a Godzilla -1. They brought it back for the 70th anniversary of Godzilla,
Godzilla.
and it was so fucking hype. There was a Q&A afterwards with them, and the guy who directed Godzilla got to meet Steven Spielberg, and Spielberg's like, "I've watched the movie 3 times. It's absolutely fantastic." And then he's like, "I thought you were a myth." He's like, "I
Yeah.
didn't know you existed." He
I
even
thought you
gave
were a
Spielberg,
legend.
he gave Spielberg a figurine of Godzilla, which I am still waiting for them to drop so I can buy it. They're
Yeah.
taking their really sweet time. And I
Anyways,
enjoyed talking about Godzilla more than I enjoyed talking about it here.
This
It's
movie's
so
just
bad.
nothing.
yeah,
It's
It's
really
a
nothing. It's
hot
really
steaming
It
boring.
was
pile of nothing.
really
It's really
boring.
boring. It's so much nothing happening. Their lives are so uninteresting. I
There
laughed
was a
maybe
guy
one
in an
time.
airplane.
There was a guy in an airplane. Relevance unclear. Foreshadowing for the COVID when he died of the influenza. That was his only purpose. I
Yeah.
laughed at one scene and one scene only. And it's
What was
when
that?
Tom Hanks announces to his dad that he's gotten his girlfriend pregnant.
Oh yeah.
And his dad comes up because Tom Hanks is like 900 years old at the moment, and so they had to like digitally de-age him, and it did not work because
I do have to say it
him
looked good, but they didn't
it
get the right
looked good.
age.
I don't think Tom Hanks has ever been young because he's literally like he literally
You're
looks
right,
like
he was born 40.
it's
He
true.
was born
He
at 40.
literally
Oh, it's
literally he
good.
looks like where he is in like I don't even know anything he would have been around that age. He looks about like 30, 35, and like he's just standing like really weird. When he's digitally DH, he stands so weird because they have to map it onto his face without it
Yeah.
like fucking it up the entire
The
special
only thing
effects
I could think
budget.
of Tom Hanks when he was young was in
It was
Big.
no, because he was actually younger than he looked in this movie than he is in Big. I was gonna say in
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, but he still looked younger in Forrest Gump than he did here. But anyway, he's like late 30s, maybe 40, looking in the thing, standing there. I got my girlfriend pregnant, and then the dad comes up and he's like, "Well, Christ, you're 18." And I'm like, "He's 18."
Yeah.
He looks like you know the pictures of like the Dwayne Johnson's like high school photos, and he looks like he's current age, like
Yeah.
he's like
I
35
love
in high school.
that.
I'm like Tom, you are ancient right now.
Yeah,
Like you are 40 in that scene. They need
there's
to
all
keep
these
going.
there's all these things in this movie also that I like besides like just the way that they decided to just chop up all the stories and everything.
The
Like
meaningless stories.
the fucking like the thing that being someone who sacrifices things for your family is a bad thing.
Yeah,
Like, because
yeah.
they're like,
There's
why
like
don't you paint
there's like
anymore? And he's like,
oh.
because I had to make a living.
I'm like, yes.
Because I needed something to pay the
Yes.
bills for the family we
You
were
should
raising.
yes, it is good to sacrifice your own wants and desires for the wants, desires, and livelihood of your children and of your family. That's what being a man is making sacrifices for your family. That's what being a father is.
And she
Yeah.
responded to that by leaving.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
left him. She left him. She's like, "Why don't you paint anymore?" And like, because I have to work 12-hour shifts
Yeah.
to afford a free house. I guess I don't know what I don't know why he had to work so hard for.
They had to mortgage the house to
The
send the
big guy.
daughter to college.
Yeah, the dude. Yeah, I guess. Oh, something like that. I don't know. And they were just like, oh. I'm like, shut up, shut up. You're so sad. You're so depressing, and like not even the way you're trying to be. It's just like it's sad to be you. I wouldn't want to be you. I'd want your free house, but I wouldn't want to be you.
Also, she
Damn.
like it was really annoying because it's like he definitely loved her more than she loved him, and you could tell that
Yeah.
because
Clearly, she
because like
left him. She left
well yeah
him.
because they had the thing where it was like they had the one-on-one Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and he even asked her like he basically asked her, do you want to try again
And
kind
she's
of
like,
thing.
oh,
No.
honey. And then
And
puts
then
her
the
hand on
next
his and she goes, no.
and then the next
Like,
fucking scene is
damn.
him. And like one of the next scenes is him guiding her into her dementia-ridden ass into this fucking house.
That was,
Be
okay,
like,
that was evident from the trailer that she had dementia
yeah,
because he had to tell her that like that we used to live here. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of obvious. So she's got dementia. I see. So I
Yeah.
went into the movie.
Oh,
I went into the movie knowing that she had dementia, and so like when she left him, and I'm like, okay, so how is he with her at the end of the movie when she's got dementia? And I'm like, it would be really funny if her dementia got so bad that she forgot she left him, and she just came
Yeah.
back. And I'm like, that would be really funny, but that didn't happen.
That's the
She's
other
just
thing.
fast forward. She's
Yeah.
dementia. They're here.
Go ahead, Mo.
Lol.
that last part of the movie where they're there in like present day, and he's like, "Oh, we used to live here." And me and Calvin were just turning to each other and just looking at each other every single time they said the word "here."
Yeah,
It's
because
like you gave birth right here, and it's
she's
like
like,
and
I like it
and we had the
here.
Christmas tree right here.
I like it here.
I
This is,
remember being here.
and this was here, and this was here, and this was here, and you and me were here, and
We were just
we were here, and then it was here, and then we just look at each other
Fucking
because
Vine
it's
Boom
the
sound
title of
effect.
the music, the title of the movie.
Yeah.
like when
Dude,
they say the name of
the
the movie in the
the other
movie, and
thing
we're
with
just
her, the other thing with her having dementia. By the way, they don't reveal that like actually until the
they
last
revealed that at
fucking like the very last. Yes, but like in the movie, they only reveal that in like the last scene. But if you already watched the trailer and you know that, there are scenes they pepper the movie. There are like 6 different scenes where she comes home and she's like, I had to stop the car on the way here the other day, like today, because I forgot where I lived. And they're like,
Yeah,
huh.
I didn't,
and you're
I didn't,
supposed to be like,
Anyways,
oh, I wonder why.
I
but
didn't
like,
Couldn't
see
be
the
that she
trailer,
has
so I didn't
stage
know
3
she
Joe
got.
Biden disorder and she can't remember where her mouth is half the time.
I didn't see the trailer, so I didn't know she had dementia or whatever. But as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh, she's got dementia.
that's my other thing is, first off, she starts saying that well before she leaves, like
Yeah.
years before she leaves,
Yeah.
and there's not a single point they think to go to the doctor about that. Like it happens like 6 different
Yeah,
times.
Tom Hanks is like, yeah, like 6 years later, Tom Hanks is just like, yeah, she's been getting a lot, forgetting a lot of things recently, and I'm like, all right,
Also, her crying at her
say la
50th
vie.
birthday.
Shut
I
up. You have a
fucking hated
giant
that
ass
scene.
family, dude. Shut up, okay?
I never went to Paris, and I never did
It
this.
sucks. Sorry if you live in Paris, but like, you would know more, bro. Ugh.
Oh my gosh, it was
I
just
never went
again the
to
whole
a
movie.
country where everyone hates me.
You cannot make a
Wow.
movie. You cannot make a movie where the whole focus of it, and especially the final scene of the movie, is her going like, I like it here, I love it here. You cannot do that and then demonize having a family through the whole fucking movie.
That's true. They really did. They really did.
Like, it would make more sense if this was like generations of the family live in this house. No, it was so
That's what I
fucking
thought it was gonna
boring.
be.
So
Yeah,
fucking boring.
Because they had Tom Hanks
completely
when he was
unrelated
quote unquote
characters.
young, and then when he was old. So I'm like, oh, okay, so his family's gonna move in, and then
Also,
that.
I have to say, I was also critiquing how the house changed throughout the whole movie, like the way the walls looked and stuff like that. I'm
Like,
sorry,
that wallpaper, not it.
the house looked the best in
I-
the first time we saw it, where like Tom Hanks' dad
The
and mom buy the
dinosaurs?
place. Well, no, like
Covered
the
in leaves?
blue on the walls and stuff. Like I really liked that. I thought that
Yeah.
was cool. And then they immediately wallpapered it. And I went, "No! Why? It looks good."
Isaac, the interior design guy. All right.
Oh,
Anyway, this movie was just egregiously boring.
Pretty disappointed in a lot of this.
yeah.
Was it, Mo?
Yeah, I got one more thing to say.
Okay.
when the movie started, for a second, I thought it was still doing like the movie company logos.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that Family Guy bit where
Yeah.
he
Yeah, you
keeps
thought it was
thinking
still
the
going, you're like,
logos
"Oh,
are
it's
the
the
movie,
movie."
but
But it was the
then it was
opposite.
actually the movie,
Mhm.
and
Well,
I thought it
that's
was a logo at first.
the movie was just so incredibly generic that like you just thought it was something cranked out in a factory
Yeah.
somewhere and approved by a board of directors. Which it was, but you know.
It was just a bunch of nothing. It really
It
was.
was a
Dude,
lot of nothing.
what's even
My
better
mom.
is that even the critics watching this movie,
Oh
because
yeah,
normally critics would
I want
be
to get
stroking the dick of this movie. Like they
I
really
want to get
would.
to that. I want to get to that in a second. My mom was
Okay.
super excited about this movie because she likes Forrest Gump and she thought it looked nice and she was like, "Oh, it's all one for one view." I had to like break the news to her, like I had to sit her down and be like, "Mom, here was bad," and she was like, "No, I'm kidding." But like I had to tell her. She's like, "Oh, that's disappointing," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I had to see it, so
Yeah.
had yourself lucky there." But yeah,
You're
like
welcome.
I was expecting us coming out of the theaters. I was expecting us to be real contrarians. Like everyone's like, "Oh, it's such a astounding film of the century," and we're just like, "That was ass." Okay,
Yeah.
like we've had that a lot where we are like in the vast minority. Everyone else loves it. Speak No Evil. Everyone else loved that. That was garbage. That was hot
It
That
garbage.
was.
was
It was hot dog
yeah.
water.
We are the contrarians. We are the opposing opinion on that. So I was expecting that. It was like, oh great, so we're gonna have to like really explain why it's bad. And Isaac looks it up, and even the critics give it like a 33%. And I just looked it up today. It's got a budget of like $50 million, and it opening weekend it made 5 mil.
Yeah.
You would have
That's
to have
not
10
good.
opening weekends to make your budget back to break even. And
What's
I'm like,
even more
that's
sad
terrible. Suffer and die.
What's even more sad about this is that the main characters, Tom Hanks' wife, and the director of the movie, it's the same people that were in Forrest Gump.
That's really bad. Well, you should know more than anyone that everyone who used to make good things is fallen off now
True.
because the guy who made Forrest Gump made Here, and the guy who made
True.
The Godfather made Megalopolis, and the guy who made
True.
Napoleon Dynamite is now in charge of the Minecraft movie.
Really? I didn't know about
Yes.
that. That makes me
Yeah.
sad. Oh, that really sucks.
2024 is the year where everyone falls off and forgets how to make movies.
So the indie
Yeah.
companies have to. So the indie people
I
have the
forgot
indie
one. I
movies got to
forgot
be
one.
like,
It's the guy who made the Joker 2.
oh, right.
It's the year of the falling off.
It was just. We've been
Uh,
we've been we've been we've been complaining about this movie for a while. Like,
We
there's
have.
not a whole
Let's
lot.
get into the
Like, we've been
rankings.
talking way more about a movie that has
Let's
literally
rank
fucking nothing in it.
this rank
Yeah,
rank
I'll
ass
go first
garbage.
with this. I'm giving this a 2. Like, it
Yeah.
was just ridiculously bad. Imaginary was better than this.
It
Like,
really was. It really
Harrow
was.
was better than this shit.
At
I
least you could
enjoyed
laugh
Anywhere
at
But Here
Pharaoh.
more than this. I enjoyed Anywhere But Anyone But You
Anywhere but
more than
here.
this.
They're combining. They're
No,
combining. You get to
Anywhere
see
but here. I
all
don't
the
want to be in this theater.
dude, I'm not even kidding. The only little bit of spoilers for for the end of the year. There are only 3 movies that I thought were worse than this. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
There are only 3 movies this year I thought were worse than this.
That's because you didn't see Babes.
I did not see Babes, and I'm glad for that.
I am overruling you. I'm putting Babes in my bottom 10 at the end of this year. I don't care that we didn't see it together. We covered it on the podcast.
Fair
It was a
enough.
special occasion. It's going in the bottom 10 this year.
All right, fair enough.
Like I'm laying that rule out right now. We're breaking that rule.
All right, fine.
I am also giving this a 2 out of 10. I had several moments where I just shut my eyes and I was like, I guarantee you I'm not missing anything. Cause we went to see this on election day, so we got up early to vote, and it was very long time to still be awake for, and I wanted to be awake for Godzilla -1. I didn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep. It wasn't Jurassic Park or Jurassic World 3 Dominion bad where I fell asleep in the movie.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's so nothing here. It's so boring. I just close my eyes and I'm just like, I just need a little rest. I guarantee you I'm not missing anything.
Exactly.
Uh, and it was bad. It was so bad. Merrick,
It's gonna be another 2 for me. I'm fairly certain they just made this for the gimmick of having the camera in one place.
I mean they did. And they really could have done way better stuff. It's just they weren't interesting. The lives that they were
Right.
showing us were not interesting or
It was
captivating.
it was just for the gimmick, and the story wasn't good.
You know what's crazy?
I would argue that there's no story.
If they would have
Exactly.
stuck, like, because it was cool to have like the not cool, but like it would have been really interesting to have a thing where it was like this house has so much history in it, like because they had the guy that invented the lazy boy, and the freaking house of Benjamin Franklin's son was across the street and stuff. Like they could have
I
had
would
so
ra-
many
I
unrelated
would rather
like
see a movie on that house.
True, but what I'm saying is like rather than having just one random ass family that all fucking hate each other be the focus of this movie, like you could have all these other people. Like you could have had like I don't know, someone that actually did something with their life. You know, like
True.
instead of just making
And
it having family bad. Like
none of them intersect at all. Like there's no
no.
purpose to have all these stories. Like if they all came together or
Oh
if they reached
no,
over
Kellen,
and
you forgot they dug up the Native American necklace,
Oh, right.
and that's it.
clearly, oh my god, it's all coming together. The necklace, the,
uh
the hippies, the necklace. We got him. It's all coming together. The
Also,
puzzle
you know what's
pieces
really
fit in
funny to
place.
me? You know what's really funny to me? They spent all that
What?
time with that one dude that invented the lazy boy. And they didn't show a single lazy boy in the rest of the fucking movie. Like anywhere else. Anytime they went anywhere else, it was just like he's like, it's gonna be the next big thing. We're in the money now. And it's like there's not a single
Ain't
other
nobody
one in
can
the rest of
afford
the
a
movie.
lazy boy, bruh.
There.
That guy got laid off 20 times in the same movie. Anyways, we're done with this. That'll wrap us up for the podcast. Wow, pretty fucking bleak
Yeah.
for the podcast here. A 5, and a 2. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry if you saw any of these movies, except for maybe
We haven't had a
Venom, I guess.
podcast this
All
bad
right.
since Vindicta.
Oh yeah. Because we had what? Vindicta and Exorcist Believer, and then we had Hocus Pocus, which I barely cared for, which didn't count because that was a silly ranking back when we still did those.
Yeah.
It was yeah. That was still worse than this. Wow. Isaac, We are heading back to the theaters this Tuesday. Would you care to share with our viewers what we'll be taking a look at?
Absolutely. We will be seeing the new Anthony Mackie movie, Elevation. We will also be seeing the remake of the best Christmas pageant ever, and as well as I'm blanking now. I had it
Heretic.
and I totally blanked on it. What?
Heretic.
Heretic. How could I forget Heretic? We've been actually kind of hyped for that movie for a while now. Looks
Yeah.
very interesting.
So, both of us being Christians, all of us being Christians here, it's Isaac's a little hesitant on that, but I'm like, but they're Mormons though.
Yeah.
They're Mormons. It
Yeah.
doesn't apply to us. We are
Fair.
different.
It'll still be gonna be. It'll be interesting. Like
I have
how that movie goes.
I have a joke about Mormonism, and I'm gonna save it till the next podcast.
Fair
And it's
enough.
very funny. Don't worry, it's very funny. Unless you're a Mormon, in which you'll forgive me anyways.
Because you legally have to.
With your nonsense religion. Okay. Anyways, that should wrap it up here. Be sure to subscribe, everyone, because it keeps us going back to the theaters and keeps us making new videos for you here. Be sure to check out our letterboxd with our tags above us right now. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap.
Roll credits.